Here are some things you may see. Flight hours. Pilot observations. Service schedule. Make sure the aircraft registration, certification, and other paperwork is in the cabin and up to date. Make sure the ignition switch is in the off position. Turn on the master power switch. Check the fuel gauges. If the fuel is low, call for the service truck to bring your fuel out while you continue to do the rest of your checks. Listen to the sounds of equipment powering on. Radio cooling fans, instrument gyros, and other equipment make noticeable sounds, and when unusual sounds are heard, it may be a warning an instrument or radio could fail in flight. Check flaps, landing gear lockdown levers, and other flight controllers for smooth, normal function. As you climb out of the cabin, take a look at the seat support rails, on small aircraft, to make sure the seat is anchored securely and all fasteners are in place. Check the cabin door to be sure it operates smoothly and shuts securely. Worn hinges or latches that do not secure properly can cause an in-flight emergency. If the door does not move smoothly into open and closed positions, it may indicate the airframe and internal structure are damaged. Looking for damage caused by impacts or cracks and seams separating from airframe fatigue, hard landings, or other mishaps. Look at the flight control surfaces, flaps, and ailerons. Make sure that items are secure and have no loose fasteners. Remove the fuel cap, for wing fuel tanks, and visually confirm they have sufficient fuel to make your flight. Replace the fuel cap securely. Check stall indicator, depending on which wing it is mounted on, struts, if applicable, and other features on the right wing. Move down the right side of the aircraft. Continue looking at the aircraft surface. Be particularly careful to observe defects or loose fasteners in the aircraft surface. Move to the tail assembly. While at the tail, you may remove the wheel chock or tail tie down. Look at the elevators and the rudder. As with all control surfaces, these should be tight, with no loose motion or free play. Look at the antennae assembly, which is usually located at the tail, as well as the tail wheel, to be sure no lubricants or brake fluid is leaking, and that the tire is properly inflated. Give the gear suspension a once-over, too, making sure any boots or covers are in place, and that all support cables are tight. Move to the opposite side of the aircraft, continuing to look over the aircraft skin to the wing. Remove the fuel cap and look into the tank to be sure it is fueled, replace the tank cap securely, and check out the control surfaces, again, the ailerons and flaps. Move to the front of the aircraft and look at the exhaust, looking for oil blowout and other damage. Check the engine oil, the ignition wires, magneto-electrical connections, and the fuel lines and other hoses to be sure they are seated properly and tightly clamped. Look at the alternator belt to make sure it is tight, and the air intake to be sure it is not obstructed. Move to the propeller. Never place your body in the swing radius of an airplane propeller. Check the spinner for lubricant leaks, missing bolts and pins, or other problems. Look at the propeller itself, to be sure the blades are not cracked, bent, delaminated, or damaged in other ways. Check for fuel or lubricant leaks around the engine compartment, cowling, and fuel tank locations. Any leaks or appearance of fluid on the aircraft skin should be inspected by a trained maintenance person prior to flight. Take a look at the wheels, landing gear, and landing gear compartment doors. Look for loose fittings, tires which may have tread separation, low inflation pressure, and other defects. Remove the wing tie-downs and wheel chocks, Walk to the front of the aircraft, and take a long, careful look to make sure you have not overlooked anything.